A little YouTube taping for you, YouTube only for the Ryen Russillo podcast. We've got Ceruti, we've got Kyle. Wargon's just in the back scheming. So we want to do something for the page here.
Life is good
and
today.
Ceruti loves it.
Isn't
Why?
it? Look at me.
Oh. Kyle, did you use the promo code?
Use the promo codes. You send me a promo code, I'm going to use it. That's one thing about me.
Right. So somebody from Life is Good who also lived in West Hartford reached out to the show. It's like, it's just too many streams crossing. And, he's like, here's some promo codes. And there you go. Kyle's got a shirt. Put to good use. How many? There was like 10 promo codes in there. Did you use all 10?
No, I think I gave him 4.
6-4 split.
6-4 split. And I gave 2 away as gifts. So, I mean, I think it's pretty even when you look at that.
So 4-4-2 alignment.
Right.
Generous Kyle. I like that. Kyle, we
So
learned
how many of the
Kyle is a thoughtful gift giver. We do know this.
That's right. Even back in the day when it was tough for him, he was like budgeting for Christmas presents. When you did the 4-4-2 split, have you used with those promo codes, like are 3 in your back pocket for a rainy day or next Christmas? I don't know.
No,
they probably expire.
I pulled the trigger on all of them. I've been burned by gift cards that expire.
Yeah.
I think maybe one of the recent presidents fixed that. But it's not, things don't expire as quickly as they used to, but I just got them all.
I like that. A platform of cheaper water at the airport, non-expiration date gift cards.
It's got my vote.
Yeah. Like, I don't know much about any of the other stuff, but the water's going to be cheaper at the airport.
That does seem like some platform people could run on,
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's like you might as well get a beer. I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Now you think about it. Like, it's 8 a.m., but the water's so expensive. 2 Michelobes. Or you could just buy the beer for the free water. Free water.
Right. I'm just here for the free water. Sure, dude.
Okay. All right. So Ceruti loves it over under properly.
Yeah.
Take us in.
This actually is a great segue then. Let me just explain, so if you're new here, we're going to do Mailed in Thursdays. We do over under properly. Maybe we'll do some different stuff in the future. We also have we have History Corner coming up. Kyle's got a history fact for us, and then we'll finish with an email. But all right, we got to start with over under properly. And actually, my first one was something I was talking about with Wargon, and we disagree on. It has to do with airports. And that's airport lounges. I do not understand the craze of an airport lounge. People, and Wargon's one of those guys. He loves it. He likes to sit there. He's like, oh, they have free beer, free food. I admittedly do not have a membership to one. My credit card does not offer that. But like, I know dudes that are just like obsessed with it. They're like, oh man, the Chase one, but this and that. I get into this lounge. I want to spend the least amount of time at the airport. I don't want to go to I don't care if you're giving me a free Stella. Like, I don't care. The food, the buffet food, it's also, I've been in them before. It's not good. And I was in a couple most recently, like last year, and they're packed too. It's not even like they're that nice. So I feel like this whole airport lounge thing, I think they're incredibly overrated, but so many dudes are obsessed. I think it's like a status thing of like, oh man, want to go to the lounge with me? I don't want to go to the lounge. I want to just get on my flight and get to wherever I'm trying to go as soon as possible. And I know there's people who travel a ton. They have layovers and whatever. But I don't think that's the dude I'm talking about. I'm talking about your regular average Joe who travels maybe 3 times a year. You don't need the airport lounge. You don't need it. It's just incredibly overrated. So that's my first one.
I don't think
so. Your vote is.
So you're saying under or overrated.
It's incredibly overrated.
Incredibly overrated. I don't think it would surprise anyone to learn that I've never set foot in an airport lounge. I think I've said goodbye to Bill before he walked into one, maybe once. But he's usually when we're traveling together, he's usually he's like of the same mind as Ceruti. Like, all right, what's the least amount of time I can spend at this airport? I mean, I think the crazy thing is
he could pay for you. By the way,
that's incredible.
To get in with
he's
him.
just like, hey, see you later, dude.
Yeah.
I'll catch you when I catch you.
I might be. I don't think I'm making it up because we fly differently, but sometimes we travel to the airport together. So it's anyway. What Wargon said in the car on the way to Ryan's house for that awesome hang the other day was
Speaking of guys that are getting dumped on for his coworker hangs.
Wargon said he will get there early and spend 5 hours.
Insane
and that's
move.
when I lost it. That's where I was like, all right, this is the perfect thing because he's like, he loves it so much. I don't know if he's just loving the deal. But he was like, I'll spend like 5 hours there, dude. The food's great and the drinks are free. And I don't know. As a guy who appreciates a free drink, I'm wearing a free shirt right now. I love free. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to spend that much extra time. So I don't know. I just think I need to hear a little more about what our guy's thinking here when he's making his itinerary flying out for core week.
Well, let's remove the outliers. Going 5 hours early to just kick it at a lounge is not anything I'm going to support, and that's so few people that are doing that. But if Oregon likes it, good for him. Don't get mad at people for liking stuff, right? Like, don't get mad at people for liking stuff that's not harmful. It's not harmful to anybody else if Mike Oregon wants to go.
I have
to
no
the airport
problem
lounge.
with him doing it. I just think it's like psycho behavior.
I just like swerved when I was driving when I heard him say that. I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
I would agree that you may need to tell an employer that ahead of time. Like, HR, is there anything we should know? You know, like kind of like when you go to the restaurant, do you have any allergies? It's like, is there anything we should know about you? Be like, I'm not afraid to go to an airport lounge for 5.
Right.
If my flight's leaving at 5:00, I'll be there at 11:55.
2 meals.
So yeah, I would be like, is that too efficient or is it actually inefficient? So, all right. So Oregon, you're mic'd up here.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm not going 5 hours early. I'm going to work and I'm just like going there. You know, it's like if you're flying on a weekday, you're doing some work, getting some drinks in and flying.
Well, what are we talking about? Like, are you still going 5 hours before the flight?
If I have like a 2 p.m. flight, I'd get there before 9 so I can do work
What
for the flight.
is happening?
Yeah, that's.
What would you do? You just skip work?
Yeah.
It's a travel day,
I love
man.
those days.
Yeah, like
I love a travel day.
No.
You just
What can I do? My hands are tied.
Yeah, you put the little plane emoji thing on Slack and you're good to go.
No, I'll do like a half day.
Well, see, look, Mike lost us quick, but he may have pulled me back in. I mean, that guy's dedication right there. He's telling you
He's not missing
you're
an
not,
RR pod taping, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's not going to burn a day. What about this idea? Just work from home for a few hours and then go to the airport at a reasonable time.
And where are my free drinks coming from?
Aha, there it is. There it is.
All right, look, I mean, everybody's got a budget going on in their head where
Explain
you're
to
up
me
or down on
where
the
the free
day.
drinks are coming from then.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah.
Because I don't see it.
I'm surprised Oregon and Kyle didn't just be like,
man.
hey, did those guys show up to day 3 of the Spotify event? Like, they're missing. So let's you think there's nothing that exists in your life that's more underrated, apparently, Oregon, right? If you want to vote here.
It's nice having like 2 espresso martinis, then getting on a flight. That's all I'll say.
Oh, man. I respect it. I actually kind of, man, am I wrong?
Yeah. Why would anybody mess with him? Right? He just laid it all out. I'm not missing any work. I'm not taking the day off. And I want a couple espresso martinis while I'm typing away.
It's hard to make those at home. I will give you that, Oregon. I will give you that.
9 a.m. show up, though. 9 a.m. arrival
I'm
for
flying
2
Saturday,
p.m.
though, 7 a.m. flight. Can't do it.
You're not getting there at midnight?
Getting there
Sleep
like 30
over?
minutes.
Bring the sleeping bag?
See if they got a cot room somewhere.
They won't serve alcohol till after 9.
Oh,
Pro
wow.
tip.
Oh, right.
Now-
Yeah. You guys
now
got
I'm
like
Now it's definitely
a
overrated.
card that just tells you what airports do what. That's great.
All right. Well, look, I think most of Ceruti's argument was terrible.
Really? Okay.
The Delta Lounge. Yeah, the Delta Lounge is really nice.
Even
And
I'm hearing about these lounges. Delta Lounge is the new one, right?
Yeah, the Delta Lounge in LA is terrific. There's like this indoor-outdoor thing. Although the outdoor thing,
What's
maybe
going on
at
with the
Ceruti's
outdoor?
point, it's just like this bar that kind of goes in and out. And it's honestly, that part maybe isn't even that great. But the food, trust me, is probably the fussiest of the 4 of us when it comes to the food. There's food that I would eat before a flight where I'm like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. That works. And then they have these like isolation cubes, which I love because it's all soundproof. And then you just go in there and then you work and you don't have to interact with anybody, but then you can, go over to the regular benches. I just think it's a really nice thing to have, especially when there are delays, especially on layovers. I don't want to get to the airport earlier, but I feel like they're properly rated. So
Okay.
that's my vote.
Yeah, I'm going to abstain, I guess. I've never been to one. So I guess I can abstain or say properly rated because, I just don't know.
No, don't vote, dude, if it's not important to you.
Stay home. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we might have time for one each here. So Well, we'll see.
All
We'll
right.
see what the timing is.
Oof,
No,
this
that's
is
fine.
This is a tough one.
That was an important one. So go
It
for
was.
it, Kyle.
I've got a growing list here, sort of like a Kanye album. I'm gonna go. If we only have time for one, I'm gonna say paintball. I think. Oh, yeah, I should probably explain. I think it's super underrated, and I think there's just, if your town's thinking about putting in a paintball course or a golf course, they'll probably go to the golf course. That's just the worlds we live in now. But I look very fondly on the last time I played paintball, which is probably over a decade ago. And it's just, I don't know. They give
You're
you a
super
gun,
into it
and
then.
everyone's going to end up okay usually, and it's a great time. I mean, you could do a whole day.
So
Has everyone here played paintball?
Yeah, I do love paintball. It's been a while. But so just to get this clear, you're advocating instead of putting up more golf courses, we need more paintball courses.
Well, I wouldn't say I didn't think that part out as much. I just think I understand why. You kind of need a lot of space. It's not like, you can turn a bowling alley into a paintball thing on like Thursdays or something. So I don't know. I understand why it's not around, but I'm just afraid as, the generations continue, there's going to be less and less paintballs. And soon it's going to be like, what is that?
It's a Gen Z problem is what you're saying.
I worry for Gen Z. I think, still like the Gen Xers who, hold a lot of the property. So maybe they should get their shit together. But I don't want to make this into a manifesto. I just think that it's one of those things that isn't around, and it isn't really even an option when people are talking about what should we do this weekend. So
I feel like it isn't a what should we do this weekend option.
It's definitely next month. Are you free?
I don't even know. It's always around. I feel like an event
Bachelor
where there's
party.
a bunch of dudes. Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
paintball.
that's what it's
Don't
become
think
now,
this-
like a novelty. That's sad.
I mean, high school we used to rip it in my buddy's back. He had like a bunch of woods in the backyard, and we would play, all the time. But
Tippin 98 Custom. That
I
was
do
my
feel
build.
like as a 35-year-old male, if I was like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?"
Nice
Like, I'm
gun.
going paintballing, and that was like a thing that I did often. People would probably judge me for that.
Yeah, as you get older, I'm not sure how often you want to be throwing yourself on the ground either. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'd like to look in and see what kind of mechanisms you can even build. I had one in college. Since something was wrong with it, and then two older guys came and threw all of my paintballs all over my dorm room, and there was still like paint in the grooves of things months and months later.
They were just spiking paintballs everywhere.
Yeah, it sucked.
That
But the
does
guy
suck.
was like one of the biggest guys that was in our friend group, and physically there was really not much of an option for me to do anything. So
I could see a policy where colleges are like, you know what? Maybe those 4 years we don't allow paintball guns for people. Just
it
for
wasn't
college.
allowed. It
Definitely
wasn't
not.
allowed.
Right.
Somebody came by. Yeah, somebody came by later and was like, "Do you have a paintball gun?" I was like, "No way.
Why would I?
These things are expensive."
What are you asking me, man?
Yeah. There may have been a couple shots fired in the air, when the thing, but then
How could you
something
not?
was wrong with it. Yeah, I loved it. And I would agree. I've never had a bad time doing it, but I don't have this hole in my life.
No, I know. And I assumed I would be alone on this hill, but I just wanted to get off my chest.
I think it's properly rated. All right.
Kyle,
if we are around, like maybe next core week, let's plan a session. I'm in. But
Yeah,
Maybe we just
my
do it on
problem
the
is I feel like
beach.
that's something people say without ever expecting the paintball gathering to ever come together. And it's a super safe thing to assume.
that is
So,
that is
but yeah,
true.
sure. I'll
But
say yes.
if
I'll
you-
say yes.
if you organize
We
it,
do it down at my place. Plenty of room.
perfect. Yeah. Ryan's a great planner. Loves having people over.
We can do like an interior one. It'll be like Hitman, the video game.
Yeah.
Just turn
Great
all the
game.
lights off. No? Okay. It's not overrated. So it's either
All right,
properly
thanks.
or under.
That's all I really was hoping for. Thank you.
All right. Toast.
Oh wow. Had toast this morning.
A lot of mornings start with toast.
Little sourdough action.
I'm kind of getting into rye lately.
Rye's delicious.
Not
Thanks, man.
not seeded rye though. I like it when there's seeds in it.
The marble rye is the best rye.
I tried to launch a baseball podcast called Sacrifice Rise.
How'd that work out for you?
I think toast can.
Still talking to investors.
I think toast could be one of those things you forget to make while you're doing the main part of your breakfast, and I would say it's probably become underrated for one of those reasons. And I don't with diners now, even not every diner you go in is like, what kind of toast do you want? It's like, do you want toast for $1?
No kidding. Toast for $1. And I'm not in that world yet. I'm not in that fancy
Yeah, how many diners are you
diner
going to?
stage.
Like it doesn't come with like the Grand
I
Slam
just-
situation. Isn't that the big breakfast?
There's actually
Always-
3. I'm
Well, I'm not
big.
saying it's out of
Go ahead,
every
Ceruti, sorry.
breakfast combo. I'm just saying it's not. I don't know if it's a given anymore.
I'd pay $1 for toast. I think I would.
Yeah, of course. That's why they could move to do that. Because who wouldn't if you're thinking about it?
Yeah, but after generations of never paying $1 for toast, like, you know,
Free water. We got similar problems.
Hey, they said people wouldn't pay for
Yeah.
music, and we work at Spotify, so
well, yeah, they always paid for music though.
no, I didn't pay for music. You ever heard of Kazaa, LimeWire?
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
I
But-
thought FrostWire was
You
going
ever-
to save
you
it.
ever
Like
fuck
no
up
one
a
knew about
computer?
FrostWire. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, oh, this double CD. Like, oh, this is just over. I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll have
Yeah,
it.
I need the new System of a
Um,
Down album. It's
Yeah,
worth it.
I couldn't wait to buy. I still bought the System of a Down CD, and I think I bought the next one after that. I was listening to them the other day. I love
excellent.
System of a Down.
Underrated.
It never. Yeah, it's so good all the time, especially when you're working out. Maybe chores around the house, a little kid, a little different vibes. Look, I'm just saying that for a long time now, I've observed that people, their toast timing is off. Order comes in, scrambled hash browns, whatever, pancakes, maybe a little bacon if you're feeling it that day, and then they throw the toast in. And the line cooks are like just not in the same line with the servers because a lot of time the servers are doing the toast, and so there's a disconnect there. There's some inefficiency in
I didn't know
this world that I've noticed. Yeah, and then your toast will come out, or they'll wait to put the toast with the dish, and then the toast has been done for like 5 or 7 minutes, and now you have cold toast. So it's just something I've been noticing more and more at different. And I do go to a bunch of diners. I'm a huge late breakfast guy. I love it. Like after the gym, I'll just go like I'm gonna
And
smash.
you
a
won't
full-
stand for a restaurant telling you it's 11:45, breakfast is over, so you go to a diner.
No, I actually respect, as a guy who used to work as a prep cook, when you turn it over the menu, you're turning over the menu. So people that get super mad about showing up at 11:47 that can't get breakfast, like, sorry. At some point, that minute has to matter.
You're right.
Right? At some point, we have to enforce it. So I tried to get late breakfast last night. I was thinking about doing it after the Clippers game. I was like, maybe I'll just do a super late breakfast, but I was worried about the toast. I was like, what if the toast is off? What if it's off? So I'm leaning towards it's. Look, there's nothing like a great slice of awesome toast, lightly buttered. I mean, when the right toast is phenomenal. All right. There's a place, Martha's, down in Hermosa. Best toast in the game. But sometimes the timing, man. I'm going overrated. Yeah.
I think it's properly rated.
I think it's leaning towards overrated from my experience, but again, that's personal.
Yeah.
I'm going to deadlock us. I can't let this toast go as overrated. So I'm going to say under, and I think we're stuck.
Okay. That's fine. All right.
Do we want to do 3 really quick? Because I actually have one.
I want to do the history.
I have one that
you
I
have
have one that really actually is a great segue to that. So I don't want to do 2. If
Good.
you
I
guys
have
aren't
one. I
doing
wish I did. So go ahead.
But I
perfect.
put bacon down. I think bacon's actually incredibly overrated. I guess I'm just talking
That's
about
the
things that I think
dumbest
are
thing you've
overrated
said
today.
today.
But it's a similar thing to what you said, Ryan. Is when bacon's done right, like bacon's incredible. Like a crispy, fatty piece of bacon is a tier 1 thing. The problem is, how often do you get that? There's a lot of bad bacon out there. A lot of bad bacon where it's floppy. It's
you got me there.
undercooked. Specifically at restaurants, it's very hit or miss. Buffets, it's almost always terrible.
Europe
does not know how to cook bacon. And
I'll tell you right now, I could do my top 10 worst pieces of bacon, and 9 of 10 would all be out of Europe. You want to go to Mykonos for a couple slabs of bacon in the morning?
Nope.
Good luck.
Nope. The other thing is we put bacon on too many things too. Like
yeah, I got to the point where I'm like, I don't need it on a cheesburger.
No,
I actually
me neither.
don't mind.
I don't think I don't need it on a chicken. Well, a grilled chicken sandwich, yes. Fried chicken sandwich, no. It's just way too dense. I had clam chowder the other day. Had bacon in it. I didn't want it. It was way off.
Maybe a little salt pork though for the clam chowder.
I kind of just like my clam
That's
chowder
fine.
the way
So we
it
don't have
is.
to agree.
But there's like
fine.
a chunk of just like wet bacon in my soup. And it didn't really add anything to it. I just think it's like, hey, we have bacon in this. And it's like, actually, that's not that good. So, breakfast. Listen, and again, a BLT is a top tier sandwich, but the bacon has to be really good. A bacon, egg, and cheese again is an elite sandwich. But I just feel like when you get bacon on its own, it's really people just don't know how to make it. It's and because I don't get enough good bacon, I think it's overrated.
I've been doing it in the oven, and it's really changed a lot for me.
That's the way to go.
Do it in the oven, on a cooling rack, obviously, so it's not swimming. But I'm going to say properly rated, just because there is such a range. And when something as good as top tier bacon, I don't think I could say it's overrated. So I'll say it's properly rated. I'm sorry, I'm a fence sitter today.
Yeah, I'm going to go properly. There's no way I can say that it's overrated, because when it's on a sandwich and it's right, it's terrific. And when it's super crispy and it's a couple slices in the morning, it's great. But you're not wrong about places doing it. It's almost like you're right, is a perfect transition from the toast thing. But yeah, I'm telling you, like, there's times in Europe where I just want to pull somebody aside and be like, when did you stop caring? What was the day you gave up? Because this isn't bacon. This is warm flesh.
But then you have like a pastry.
I don't want to think about that, man.
But then you have a pastry. It's like petit déjeuner, and it's like, oh, actually, you guys have this figured out. Cappuccinos in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, no, Europe's got us in the pastry game. That's not. But they couldn't cook up a normal edible American breakfast to save their lives.
Jesus, right?
No, they couldn't. Right. And you're welcome.
Yeah,
for the tip. Can I get this one off real quick? I think CeeLo, the dice game, I don't know when that stopped. Maybe it's teenagers like stop doing that. Maybe just guys stop walking around with dice. But there's nothing.
Did they stop walking around with dice?
Yeah, I think there's nothing like a good just like from a normal life to like, you guys want to bet on these dice really quick? We can stop whenever. I think it's fucking awesome. I think the concept, it's so simple, it's fun, it's exhilarating.
Shout out to the coin boys, right? Kind of feels like they graduated.
Dice walk,
so
coin boys could run.
The dice dudes. Yeah. I shouldn't shock anyone. I've never played this game, so I have no opinion.
So you guys would just play craps in a moment's notice. It was on. You had dice on you at all time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you forget your dice, but you got buddies. They might have dice.
Yeah, I mean, Ceruti's not alone on this one. I love it, but I just think that's funny. Somebody tried to repurpose the coin boys thing as like a new thing. Did you see that?
No.
Like, it's just this world of everybody ripping everybody's content off and just posting. I still want to interview somebody that runs one of those horseshit sports sites that just vultures every rumor and like offers nothing of their own. And you can always tell how full of shit they all are, because it'll say like featured on ESPN, Fox, CBS, or whatever, right? Like, that's the first tell that it's like you actually do nothing. I want to interview one of those people and be like, what is the reward? Like, are you monetizing this past a certain number of followers? So when I saw the Coin Boys thing rolling around, and any Coin Boy OG, that's tough to say. I'm struggling with it. Any OG, yeah, but any of those OGs, you're trying to pass this off as this is this new thing at your school. Like, oh, my sister's a teacher, and you just went, you're doing this for respect the Coin Boys. Don't repurpose this shit years later. There's no one like those guys. I would like to interview them.
I would too.
What are you guys up to? Probably in Bitcoin.
Want to do History Corner?
Yeah, that's fine.
Kyle, it's your turn.
Okay, I got two, but I think because we went long, I'll just go with one. Did you guys Abe Lincoln's dog, Fido? I think this is not confirmed or denied, but that's where the popularity came from for the name Fido. That's not my fact. Also assassinated.
What?
The dog was assassinated.
Yeah, after Abe. So he was a big. Let me see.
It's John Wilkes Booth too.
It was a big yellow dog. No, but it was like classic dog stuff. It was an excited dog. It would come and jump on you, and
so an awful dog.
Give you love, and yeah, it's just. I mean, it's one of those things that's natural. So there's two stories of what could have happened. The dog died the same way. Somebody poked it with a stick as it jumped up to say hello. And there was a man, Charlie Plank, who was whittling a stick with a sharp, long bladed knife. Not a Benchmade. By an accidental move when the dog was expressing himself, the blade was buried deep in his body. He shot out the door like a flash and was never seen again alive. His body was found about a month later And in the Illinois State Journal, they said this guy was drunk, or half drunk. But yeah, this dog assassinated after Abe Lincoln. Fido the
Sounds
dog.
like self-defense to me.
I knew you would say that.
Ryan's approval rating is just taking a lot of hits. Anti-dog guy, not a good host. Not great. Do you get? I feel like that has to be some sort of crime if you kill a president's dog. Did that guy get put
Well,
down?
the president's dead.
What if the president's dead
at this
though?
point? Does
Oh, he's still
yeah.
a pre-
do you still get Secret Service?
Yeah, that's a good question. The dog, maybe.
I mean, we know about some version of the story, so it clearly had to have been a big enough deal at the time. But so they don't know officially if it was the stick or it was always the blade, or we don't know that he was whittling a stick and he just happened to have the knife. That guy obviously killed the dog, so that's not cool.
Nah,
Yeah.
can't be doing that.
Interesting fact for you.
Fido,
Tough.
you use that in a sentence. All right, that'll do it for us. Can't believe we didn't. Imagine if you only
Wait, do you have
listen
an
to the
email?
podcast. Oh, yeah.
Or we could
I
do it.
do,
We could do
actually.
Kyle's second history fact.
No. I do have an email here. I don't want you guys to. So it's a little Friday feedback.
That's okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was kind of always the point of this. And here was the email. We had Ed Quinn on yesterday, actor, friend, neighbor. Neighbor was going to be my over-under properly for the last one, so we'll save that. That's exciting. And the headline was, "Great job sucking Ed Quinn's dick. What a douchebag. Terrible episode." So a little feedback to help you set you straight on your week.
Oh man.
Ed Quinn's dick properly rated? No, I'm just kidding.
For the record, after the interview was over, we just talked about stuff. Nothing happened.
I believe you.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Okay, that'll do it for today's episode on YouTube only. Kyle Wargon, man, lounge guy, the lounge king. He kind of took me, like, I went into it thinking there's no way I would have his back. Now I kind of do. Again, that's the power of Wargon. And thanks to Ceruti. Check out our podcast, Ryen Russillo Podcast, Ringer, Spotify. Thank you.
Happy Halloween.